Moduls Rīga piedāvā.
You tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
And you don't mind me zipping from the coffee?
No.
No?
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready for a story?
Yes.
Okay. So in 2004 in Berlin we had been organizing an art academy. And it was an art academy for 6 weeks, and we invited like 150 different students, participants. And the topic was fake lore. So it was fake lore on the invention of an urban folklore, something like this. So 150 participants from all over the world, I mean really like Uganda and wherever. And after it ended, then, and it was really hilarious, I really liked it a lot. And after this, then they always ask you to write this report, you know, which you have to write for those people who gave the money. But in those days, I knew these people. So I went there and I said, I cannot write a report because if I have to reflect on what we have done, it would be not in the form of a report. And basically also you don't read that report. So, and I have left a little bit of money, so I would suggest something different. And I said, all the topics which we have been discussed during the academy, and of course the academy is closed, there was no public, there was no audience, right? There were only us. So for all the different topics we have been discussed and we had made workshops for, I look for someone in Berlin who is knowledgeable about this, and I will ask all these people to come in, and then the public can also come and we can inform the public about what we have been working on. So somehow they agreed. And then there was this moment, it looked pretty much like the black market today. And I was very happy because I have been avoiding to write the report. Everyone who was there was very happy, so well done. But the next day I got a call from a sociologist, Dirk Becker. Dirk Becker is, let's say, the following up of Niklas Luhmann. And usually in our scene, in our theater scene, we have not so many contact with sociologists actually, but he was very well known. Because, and that's a side story, when Heiner Müller died, they had a big ceremonial coming together at the Berliner Ensemble. And Alexander Kluge stood on the stage and talked about the last moment when he met Heiner Müller. And he said, and Heiner Müller was reading this Vademecum by Dirk Becker. No one had ever heard about Dirk Becker before, not in our theater scene, but you can imagine everyone was there. I mean, all the dramaturgs from all over Germany. So everyone wrote immediately down this name. So after that, everyone has read Dirk Becker. So when Dirk Becker called me, I was alarmed because that meant something, and I met him, and then he explained to me what I have done there. And he explained to me that this coming together of knowledge would be the best idea how to rethink the universities, that this should be the model how a university should work. We talked a lot about this idea that when two people are talking and you have a very defined third moment, which is the observer, how that changed the dialogue. And how important it is that the observers can be observed by another observer, and that this creates the public space. So basically, I would say, if I wouldn't have had this talk with Dirk Becker, I might have not even done it ever again, because for me it was just to get rid of work. So you can say that the whole idea basically came from a moment of my own laziness, because I didn't want to sit down and write this report. And sometimes, yeah, that was just lucky, no? I just built for a very short moment a model, which is not more than an hypothesis of something, where you can dream with. It is for sure not any type of which you can construct something from. But for that moment, maybe for these 5 hours, you could think that actually to gain knowledge as a collective appropriation is really something else than usual. That maybe gaining knowledge is not only to enhance yourself, but that it could be a moment more like a feast of getting to know each other at the same moment when you gain that knowledge. I mean, these things, I think, are happening in the black market. But that's, you know, it's not more than what it is. It's just for a little moment, it hopefully, or I think it raises some desires, which are then disappointed again. I have to say, all the institutions didn't work out. Not the school and not the university. So I pretty had to organize it myself. That's actually what everyone has to do right now. But when I was young, that was not so. So I just dropped out of all of those things. And then I was lucky, because in those years you had a lot of alternative seminars and curriculums. So, for example, I studied, I was very much actually interested, I studied, among others, I studied also pedagogy. I was very much interested in that. But only, of course, the Chinese Cultural Revolution and socialist ideas about pedagogy. So that were the years, right? This is what you studied. You studied to read Karl Marx. That was it, and Frankfurter Schule. So I was lucky somehow, because I grew up in a time where someone like me, who somehow could not really learn very well in these institutions, had a lot of alternatives, which were then just a given. You just had to go out on the streets and you were in a workshop for 3 years. Knowledge doesn't make you a better person. You can read, I mean, anyone can read anything, but it doesn't mean that there is a better person coming. No. You, because you are an intellectual, believes when you know more, you will be a better person. Yeah. And that might be even the case, but for a lot of people that's not the case, no. It's depending, you know, what we do with the black market or with other installations, also to describe that the context in which you accumulate knowledge and for what type of purpose, and how it can be communicated, how easily, or in a story, or if it's only to be lectured, or if only a few people have this knowledge, that all matters, right? Knowledge per se doesn't even exist, I think. It's only always, and you know this, it's in a specific context, and it can do harm. It can make people for sure more stupid and really evil. Don't you watch any Hollywood movies? You should know that. I have to say, you have a tendency to ask really big questions. You know, like, do you like the end of the world? Is it coming soon? Well, I don't know. Any type of, of course you can just say any type of show, whatever it is, cinema or theater, is just killing of time. I don't hope that you mean that. If you are asking me if something specific is happening in the black market, which gives another moment or another idea to this moment of knowledge transfer, then I think so definitely it does, yes. You see, the main slogan for the black market is, "Only when I heard how you understood me, I knew what I have said." And that's this situation of a dialogue everyone is in, and also that it's only half an hour, and that the experts know that they have somehow to tell their knowledge and not to lecture it, that indeed does something different to this moment. It makes it precious, because it's also like it has to be, how is it? It's like you have to deal with the other person to come to terms. The moment that this knowledge transfer is happening is only when both, accordingly to each other, perform at the same moment, right? Only then it's happening. So it is indeed bringing this moment of knowledge transfer into a performative mode, and only when this mode is happening, the black market is happening. If suddenly everyone there would just lecture and the other one is listening, it would not happen anymore. So I think it is actually, yeah, on one hand, it's also really like a working space or a workshop for training a different form of communication. And actually there are very simple things like that you meet someone whom you don't know, and you are not introduced, and there is also no moment of introduction, because when you sit down no one will tell you who you are and no one will ask you why you are there, and that you can immediately start a conversation about a third thing, which is not you and not the person but something else. That's, for example, very good to know. It's a perfect technique. I'm never bored when I'm in a train now. With this technique you have always good conversations. It's, for example, for the black market not at all important how people talk. We make the decision before, we say we want this person, and then when we meet this person, then we have made already the decision. It's then only if he or she would agree. So it's not a casting. So when you meet this person and he is he cannot really speak, and he has two noses, and his head is to the other side, then our only problem would be where we put the microphone. But it would be not that we say, you are not fit for the black market. And that's nice. I like that a lot. You make the decision before. The way how they perform is not important, because I have built the whole setup. The setup performs for them. They just have to be there, and they have to know about what they want to talk. That's all. And the only thing I tell them is don't lose time introducing yourself. Because, I mean, I don't know how this is in Latvia, but in Germany we don't have really rules for how we introduce each other. So this introduction can go on forever. Mm-hmm. You know, then you have 20 minutes lost before you say the same first sentence. I really hope that someone would do a black market for kids. I won't do it because I have other interests, but I think someone should do it. And as I don't do the black markets anymore, it's more now really a license which I give to other people, so I really hope that someone comes up with that. But
do you call yourself an artist?
No.
No?
No. Mm-mm. No. The problem is only, what do I call myself then? That's the problem. I don't...
How do you call the thing you are doing?
The thing has a name. It's called black market for you.
Is it an art?
No, I don't think so.
No?
It's also... How can I say? I mean, it would be only important, I think, to think about it if it's art, if it would be something which is challenging the art. It doesn't. It's a bastard. It's an in-between. It's an invention in itself. I don't think that it must be necessarily called art. You can also, I don't know how you can call it, but it could be also, you could say it's a needed service. You know, I'm so old. I have worked so many years, and now I don't even have a name for what I'm doing. That's kind of depressing. Another very hard part is that you feel always, in a way, again and again, really stupid. Because all the time you have to do with people who just know much more than you do. That comes really with this this type of work. So, can I ask you something? Are you okay when after this interview I ask you also the same questions? What you haven't asked me, you have asked fucking everything.
No.
You had asked, what did I learn? When will I die? Am I afraid of this? What happened in between? What is the worst situation in my life? You asked me everything. I'm done.